How's it going, friends? Let's go ahead and open up a few more packs and see what we got. First half of the video, we'll crack some packs and just see what's in there. Second half of the video, we'll see if there's anything that I can actually use in some of my decks. Without further ado, let's see what we got in this first one. Alright, the art card is... Hey, Karn. Doing math. Alright. We got a stained glass forest. Alright. Phyrexian Vasectomy. 2/2. Phyrexian Human for 2. Whenever a creature you control dies, scry 1. Scry is underrated. I've said it a million times, I'll say it again. Essence Scatter. Instant for 2. Counter target creature spell. Counter spells are tasty. Charismatic Vanguard. It's a 3/2 Dwarf Soldier for 3. You can pay 5. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Doesn't seem great, but it could be value if you're going wide. Splatter Goblin, 2/1 Phyrexian Goblin. Oh god, goblins are Phyrexians, that's terrifying. For 2, when Splatter Goblin dies, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Can get rid of something pesky with that. Garna, Bloodfist of Keld. Garna? Yeah. 4/3 Human Berserker for 4. Whenever another creature you control dies, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, Garna deals 1 damage to each opponent. It's pretty chaotic. It's in theme. Join Forces, instant for 3. Up to 2 target creatures. Untap up to 2 target creatures. They each get +2/+2 until end of turn. Surprise Defense. Joint Exploration. It's an instant for 2 with a kicker of 1. Scry 2, then draw a card. If this spell was kicked, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Not terrible. Queen Elena of Ruad. It's a star elf noble for 3. Her power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. If one or more creature tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus a 1/1 white soldier creature token are created instead. Why was that so hard for me to say? We just covered this one. Threats Undetected. It's a sorcery for 3. Search your library for up to 4 creature cards with different powers and reveal them. An opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Shuffle the chosen cards into your library and put the rest into your hand. Okay. Barkweaver Crusher. It's a 2/5 Elemental Warrior for 4 with Enlist. Enlist is tap a non-hungover creature, and you can add its power to this creature. And this is shiny variety. And bird token. Alright, moving on to pack number 2. Let's see something exciting come out of this one. Come on. Okay, and Bird of Glass. Okay, plain old mountain. Extinguish a Light is an instant for 4. Destroy a target creature or planeswalker. If its mana value is 3 or less, you gain 3 life. Okay, bonuses for going after the little ones. Enthrall to the Pit. It's a sorcery for 4 with a kicker of 3. Gain control of the target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature and takes until the turn. If it was kicked, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Okay. Bone Splitter. As an additional cost, it's a sorcery for 1. As an additional cost, sack a creature. Destroy a target creature. Removal. Smash to Dust. Sorcery for 2. Choose 1. Destroy target artifact. Destroy target creature with Defender. Smash to Dust deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control. Okay. Rona. Oh god, I got the Rona. Rona Shieldred's Faithful. A 3/4 Human Wizard for 4. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 1 life. You may cast Rona from your graveyard by discarding 2 cards in addition to paying the cost. Okay. Shieldred's Restoration. It's a sorcery for 4 with a kicker of 3. Return target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. If this spell was kicked, you gain life equal to that card's mana value. Otherwise, you lose that much life. Exile Shieldred's Restoration. Okay. Walking Bulwark. 0/3 Defender Golem for 1. You can pay 2 until the turn. Target creature with Defender gains haste. Can attack as though it didn't have Defender and assign its combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Activate only as a sorcery. Yavimaya Iconoclast. Is a 3/2 elf for 2 with a kicker of 1 and trample. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, it gets +1/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. Okay. Elias Eden Core Sadistic Pilgrim is a 2/2 Phyrexian Core Cleric, legendary, for 2 with Death Touch. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Okay, Sulfur Springs, Painland is good. Joyra, Ageless Innovator. Fuck yes, and it's a shiny. This is probably what I was looking for this entire box. She's a 3/2 legendary human artificer for 2. You can tap her and put 2 ingenuity counters on Joyra, Ageless Innovator. Then you may put an artifact card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield, where X is the number of ingenuity counters on Joyra. She comes in on turn 2, somehow you get her haste, or let's say on turn 3, you tap her, you get 2 ingenuity counters, boom, you're dropping a 2 count. You tap her again, you put 2 more, and you start figuring out ways to untap her. This is going to go infinite in a nasty, nasty way. And Night Token at the end. Pretty stoked about that one. Okay. Let's open up the third and final pack here. Pretty happy with what I got so far. Let's see if I can keep going, keep the luck going. Okay. And the art card is this one. Oh, with the Weatherlight in the background. Poor Weatherlight. Okay, we got a Forest. Eerie Soul Tender, 3/1 Spirit Cleric for 3. When it ETBs, mill 3 cards, so you can pay 5, and Eerie Soul Tender exile from Eerie Soul Tender from the graveyard. Return another target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I had a lot of trouble reading that. Samite Herbalist, 2/1 Human Cleric for 2. Whenever Samite Herbalist becomes tapped, you gain 1 and scry 1. Okay. There's a Forest Island, ETB's tapped. Hexbane Tortoise is a 3/2 Turtle for 3 with Ward 2 and Enlist. That's not terrible. I like the Ward mechanic. Fires of Victory. It's a instant for 2 with a kicker of 3. If the spell is kicked, draw a card. Fires of Victory deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the number of cards in your hand. That seems pretty good. Phoenix Chick. Oh, look at the chick. It's a 1/1 Phoenix for 1 with flying haste, and it can't block. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may pay 2. If you do, return Phoenix Chick from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking, with a +1/+1 count on it. Okay. Nishoba Brawler. It's a star 3 Cat Warrior for 2 with Trample and Domain. Power is equal to the number of basic land types among lands you control. Inscribed Tablet. It's an artifact for 1. You can pay 1 and tap it and sack it. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put a land card from among them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If you didn't put a card into your hand this way, draw a card. Okay. Zar Ojanen, Scion of Ephraim. It's a 2/2 legendary cat warrior for 5 with Domain. When it becomes tapped, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with toughness less than the number of basic land types among lands you control. Not sure how I feel about that one. Keldon Flame Sage, 2/3 Human Shaman for 3 with Enlist. Whenever it attacks, look at the top X card of your library, where X is its power. You may exile an instant or sorcery card with mana value X or less from among them. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Okay. I don't hate it. Tolarian Geyser, shiny Tolarian Geyser. It's a sorcery for 3 with a kicker of 1. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Draw a card. If the spell was kicked, you gain 3 life. And Goblin Token. Can never have too many goblin tokens. All right, we're going to pause right here. I'm going to take a look at what I got and see if any of these are going to fit in any of my decks or if I'm going to do some builds out of them. See you in just a bit. All right, friends, we are back. We're going to take a look at a few cards that I pulled out of that pile to see what might actually make it into some of my decks or what decks I might build. First of all here, we've got Fires of Victory. It's an instant for 2 with a kicker of 3. So for 2, you get to do damage upwards of 5, maybe 6, maybe even more, depending on what your hand size is. And for 3 more, you get to draw a card. That last part's not great, but that first part for 2, you can do a lot of damage with the cards in your hand. Okay, Inscribed Tablet. It's an artifact for 1. You can pay 1 and tap it and sack it. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put a land card from among them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library. If you didn't put a card in your hand this way, draw a card. So this is card draw for 2, which is not bad at all, and it can potentially ramp you. So if you're playing something that's, not green, and you're having trouble ramping, like white maybe, this is definitely going to be an auto-include in a lot of those decks. Joint Exploration. It's an instant for 2 with a kicker of 1. Pay 2 to scry 2 and then draw a card. That's good value. You pay 1 more for it, and you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield, even if you already had one there. That's pretty solid right there. I'll take that all day. Queen Elena. Star. She's power equal to the number of creatures you control, and she makes more tokens whenever you make a token. So I think this actually might just be a really fun build to make, really, big go wide strategy. I might do that. We'll see. Okay. Keldon Flamesage. She's a human shaman for 2 with Enlist. Enlist means that you can tap another creature to make his power bigger. When he attacks with the top X cards of your library, where X is his power, you may exile an instant or sorcery card with mana value X or less from among them. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. So playing free spells is always good. Playing free spells that are really, really big is something that Keldon might allow you to do. I think this is pretty solid. And then, of course, Joyra, Ageless Innovator. She is going straight into my upcoming Brea build. That is artifact heavy, and she's going to do some work in there. All right, folks, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you see anything that I missed in that previous pile, or if you see some that are here that you're wondering why they're even there, let me know. See you in the next one.